The deepest heart cry of God is for His people, because as goes the people of God, so goes the rest of the world. And if you do not pay attention to the people of God, evangelism comes to a screeching halt. Evangelism is a byproduct of the quality of the people of God that He has entrusted to you. The degree to which they walk with Him is the degree to which they have an incredible witness that they cannot keep quiet about. And you'll find that the closer the people of God come to a relationship to God, the more profound is their witness. And that's why revival always precedes spiritual awakening, because revival is something that can only happen to the people of God. The lost person has never been revived, so they can't be revived. And so the only ones who can be revived are those who once knew Him. So God's first order is to deal with His own, because as goes His own, so goes all His purpose to work through His own to touch a lost world. And I have found that the more time I spend helping God's people to come toward Christ-likeness, the more there was an immediate, spontaneous witness. I remember talking to some deacons, and they said, Pastor, if you just, this was in the second church I pastored in Los Angeles, and they said, Pastor, if you just give us some assignments. And I said, I won't do that. He said, what do you mean? I said, if I have to come to the place where I assign you to love someone, you're in trouble. But Pastor, couldn't you, these visitors and people, couldn't you just assign some to us? And I said, no, I won't do that. I'd be hurting you as your pastor. My desire is to lead you into a relationship to Christ in such a way that you are begging. You are going to the place where the prospects are found, where you just go and you let the Lord guide you, and you go to the members of the church and those under your watch care. And I said, I'll never have to assign you if you have a love relationship to the Lord. But I can do you great harm by assigning you someone to love. They caught it, and they let me lead them into a growing love relationship to the Lord. I never had to assign one deacon to go out and love a lost person or to go out and love a believer. They did it spontaneously. I've always said what you do spontaneously is the best indicator of the condition of your heart. If you have to think about it, your heart has shifted. And what you do when you face people, what you do spontaneously without thinking, is where your heart is. I want you to feel the implication of this, because I had to do it as a pastor. And it made a radical difference in everything I did. And to this day it does. I mean, every day I'm facing this one. And many of you are very much aware of John 13. Is that not the great servant picture? And those of you who know Max Greiner, who does statues of Jesus washing Peter's feet. Max and I are good friends. He's a mess, but he's a great artist. But you know, one of the most significant parts to that is that everything that follows in that 13th chapter is based on what he did when he served. And let me give you a verse that you've heard me talk on many times, but I want to bring it back to you because it's one of the great pitfalls of ministry when we lose the relationship with the living Lord. See, when your greatest root problem is the relationship of love to Him, but all the rest of the Bible tells you what that means. So in the 20th verse, he makes this statement. How you receive the one I send you, you receive me. And how you receive me, you have received my Father who sent me. Now again, if Brother Roberts, I can ask forgiveness rather than permission. he will never know. He'll never know how much of Christ I came to know because God sent him to my life. I don't know if you've got to know this, dear brother, but I can tell you one thing. He has come to know Christ in a way that none of us have. God doesn't duplicate anything. When God comes to an individual, it is a unique, all of our background, all of our idiosyncrasies, all of our sensitivities. We come to know Christ uniquely. Unlike anyone else on the face of the earth, we have come to know our Lord. And there's going to be a whole dimension of the person of Jesus Christ that I will never know if I don't know it through my brother. I can't know it the way they have. And they look at it, it's like a diamond. You can look at it from 1,000 angles and you'll see something more beautiful. And I can tell you, the person of our Lord has so much about him that it takes all of us experiencing him and then bringing our life alongside of our brothers and simply sharing that. And you come to know something about him you never could have known if you'd not heard that from them. And so Jesus says, how you receive the one I send you, you've received me. And how you've received me, you've received the one who sent me. So, Brother Mark, there's no question in my mind, you're unique. Not because of you, but because of the Christ who chose to let you know some things about him. He didn't let me know that. But I will never know him that way unless I know him through you. And not only do you need to share out of the uniqueness of your perception and experience with the Lord, but you need to share it in a way that I can understand it. And I want you to know, I'll know more about Jesus after I've talked to you than I could have possibly known without you. But he then makes that a unique statement to say, and how you receive me, you've come face to face with my Father. How then should I treat you? Very carefully. As a sacred trust from God. Let me ask you, how are you receiving those God sends to you? It was just a 16-year-old boy. No, it wasn't. It was the living Lord who came face to face with you. He happened to have a 16-year-old body. But if you had taken time to try and disciple him, you'd have come to know something about the Lord you have never known before. You'd have had a tenderness and a gentleness. I met a 16-year-old here. And Dave, where are you? Where is Dave? Yeah, your son. What's his first name? David. You need to know, David, when I had just a few minutes with you, I had an experience with the Lord. That was very, very special to me. You didn't know anything about that, did you? But John 13:20 was happening through you. In just, how long does it take Christ to make himself known? One sentence. And you know, just to know that you're standing on the edge of your life saying, Lord, what would you have me to be? Was so refreshing to me personally. Because I'm getting along. Not as far as some others, but you have no idea what it does to me to know that my Lord is still in the business of calling teenagers. It did something inside me. Can you learn something about the Lord and the Father? How are you receiving the ones He sent you? It may be a fellow pastor. What is he trying to tell you about himself? Now, are we not in grave danger? Is that not one of the great pitfalls of the ministry? When we cry out for the Lord to make Himself real, and He said, you don't understand the way in which I chose to do it. I sent 4 people to you last week, and you didn't receive any of them as you would receive me. Now, I don't make you an independent communicator with me. I have made you interdependent by creation. You see, sin creates independence, and redemption creates interdependence. We need each other, and God created us so that you can never know more of Him unless you receive it from your brother or your sister.